What's up, guys? Trail here, better known as Budget Bill, and this is your second stimulus check update and stimulus package update for Thursday, November the 12th. Today, we want to discuss a few data points that could offer up to $4,000 for people who are on SSI, SSDI, Social Security, VA, beneficiaries, or any form of Social Security. If that fits you, this very well could mean additional money coming your way in 2021. But full disclaimer, this has not been approved, nor is it currently in legislation. However, I believe that there is a very good chance of this coming to fruition in the near future. I also want to provide a presidential election update as this thing is going on for the 9th day now. Those are just some of the topics that we are going to cover today. But before we get started, be sure to like this video if you like this type of content. It definitely helps out a lot as it takes a lot of time to research this information and to provide a scaled down version to share with you guys. Also, if you want to be a part of this community, we would love to have you. Be sure to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to be notified of each new video. Today is day number 4 and President Trump is still refusing to accept the loss like a true president. Although he's not your typical type of president, considering he sort of sneaked in and won the presidential election back in 2016. Now fast forward to 2020 and President Trump is expected to exit the building very soon. So far, we know that the data analysts have stated that candidate Joe Biden is the new president-elect with the data provided. Majority of the votes have been counted and it appears that there is no way President Trump can catch up and win the election. Mostly all networks have Joe Biden as winning in popular votes and in the electoral votes. Now, they are still counting votes in multiple states, so the numbers are still increasing every day for both candidates as mail-in ballots are still being counted. At the time of filming this video on November the 12th, Biden has over 77 million popular votes and Trump has a little over 72 million popular votes. And Joe Biden has 279 electoral votes to President Trump's 217 electoral votes. Now, yesterday, we had some more Republicans coming out to concede on the election, stating that Joe Biden will be the next president. One well-known anchor from Fox News, Tucker Carlson, stated that there's not enough fraud to change the election results and that we should be honest. And then you have other Republicans like Mitt Romney of Utah, Susan Collins of Maine, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Mike Rounds of South Dakota, Marco Rubio of Florida, and Ben Sasse of Nebraska, or Pat Toomey of Pennsylvania, all conceding to President-elect Joe Biden. But the question is, when will President Trump concede? None of us have a clue at this point. Now, I will say President Trump will go down in history as the most powerful president ever. He was a boss before he entered into the White House, and he was an even bigger boss while serving for the last 4 years. Now, in other news, back in March of 2020, the United States was hit with a pandemic which crippled our economy for the last 9 months. And still today, we are still dealing with this pandemic more than ever. The U.S. is on its 3rd wave of virus cases being reported from state to state and still unable to flatten the curve of infections. Well, the reason I bring up March is because that's when 3 senators introduced a plan to increase benefits for all Social Security beneficiaries. Now, this plan was to provide more than 60 million Americans with an additional $4,000 over 2 years as part of a 3 stimulus proposal. This plan was unveiled by Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer, Senator Elizabeth Warren, and the Senate Finance member Ron Wyden. This plan was to increase the monthly benefit by $200 for all Social Security beneficiaries, veterans, and supplemental security income, SSI, SSDI, through the end of 2021. Now, this plan would ultimately give seniors, veterans, and people with disabilities the additional contribution on each paycheck. So that would have been a total of $4,000 if this proposal was implemented back in March of 2020. However, the plan did not take off and it was never implemented. So why are we talking about this today? Well, the good news is that the President-elect Joe Biden has something similar in his emergency action plan. So if you go to joebiden.com and pull up the Biden Emergency Action Plan to save the economy, you will see that he also includes something of similarity. So in this plan, Biden lays out several things of importance to him once he officially takes office on January the 20th, 2021. The first thing he has is to use all available authorities to help turn the tide of this epidemic. This would help organize the reopening of our economy in a safe way that would limit the increase of virus cases. Also, working with public health experts on testing capacity, tracing contacts, and the ability to move equipment needed for the new hotspots. The second thing is to launch a task force that would report directly to him, that would oversee every dollar that goes out to make sure every dollar gets to the people who need it the most. He wants to keep as many people on payroll and to make up for the lost hours and wages. He wants to act decisively in keeping small businesses in business, and he wants to enforce conditions and oversight on big corporations. And then the third thing he wants is to bring the leaders of Congress together to build the next stimulus deal. Now, right here, he mentioned how Congress took a great leap back in March to pass the CARES Act that provided $1,200 stimulus checks to the American people. Biden says that that was a good start, but more must be done. So with his efforts, he wants to make sure the second stimulus package includes the additional stimulus checks to help working families through this crisis. But he believes the additional checks should have conditional requirements. Next, he wants to include a minimum of federal student loan forgiveness of $10,000 per person. This was actually proposed by Senator Warren and other colleagues during the presidential race. Biden's plan states that young people and other student loan debt holders should get a break. Now, this is the part that's similar to the proposal that I mentioned from back in March. Right here, it says he wants to increase Social Security checks by $200 per month as proposed by Senator Wyden and other colleagues. This is pretty much in line with the proposal that I read from March. Biden says seniors and people with disabilities are at risk right now. Now, the proposal from March stated that the additional $200 per paycheck would last until the end of 2021. But Biden's plan doesn't necessarily offer an end date, but it could be pushed further out as the pandemic is far from being over. And then he also wants to provide emergency paid sick leave to everyone who needs it, with no one being left out. He wants to ensure that virus testing and treatment and hopefully the vaccine can be free to all Americans. And he wants to provide the necessary fiscal relief to states and local governments to get the help they need for the heroes that are working on the front line. Now, those are just some of the important details that I pulled out of this Biden emergency plan, which I think is very interesting. Now, whether he can get these things passed in Congress will be the tricky part. As we have seen for the last 7 months or so, getting Congress to work for the American people has been nothing but lies. But we are all American and we are in this together. So all we just have to do is just have hope that these things can come to life in early 2021. But don't forget, all these folks are politicians, which means that they mostly create laws, legislation, and bills that benefit themselves first before they benefit the majority of Americans. Let's keep the hope alive. But as I said, this plan is still a proposal. It has not been signed into law just yet. But the new incoming president-elect, Joe Biden, has this as a plan of action once he gets into the White House. If he can successfully get these things done, those Social Security beneficiaries, SSI, SSDI, VA, and so on, may start receiving an additional $200 per month until the end of 2021 or later. We don't know yet, but hopefully we find out something in relation to this very soon. But let me know what you guys think about this emergency action plan by Joe Biden and the Harris administration. Do you think that they can get something like this passed into legislation? Let me know your thoughts down below. Also, I will include a link down below so you can read over the Biden Emergency Action Plan for yourself to see what you think about it as well. And with that being said, this has been your second stimulus check update news for today. If you found value in this video, be sure to press the like button for me as it really helps out the channel. Also, if you want to become a part of this community, be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell to be notified of each new video. Other than that, hey, I appreciate you guys stopping by and watching, and I hope to see you on the next video. Peace.